Well, hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Clunkers. I'm Jim, and today we're going to be picking back up on this 1990 Club Car DS. We're taking this golf cart from its original factory 36 volt setup with the original motor, and we're going to put a 7.5 kW AC converted motor that is going to drive this golf cart to run 78 miles an hour. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it because we have a lot of work to get done. Now in the last video, I was able to get this golf cart broke down, get all the old outdated control systems off of here, get the frame cut, get a platform to mount the battery to. The only thing that I didn't get to was getting this old motor out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way first. Then when we get it off, we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison to this old motor and the new motor that we're gonna be putting in its place. It's pretty drastic. You know, I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks like this or not, but I'm about to take this motor loose, and this motor hasn't been taken off of this golf cart. It was put on 36 years ago. I mean, that's saying something for quality. The motor has been on here for 36 years and is still going strong. I'm just changing it because it's not strong enough, and I want more power. But 36 years this thing has been in service. I mean, without fail. It's just crazy to me. And for what it was designed for, it's still plenty strong enough, reaching all the criteria that it was designed to meet 36 years later. That's outstanding. So the bottom of this motor, there's a little L bracket. It's like a little piece of angle iron, and there's one bolt down here that's got a 1/2 inch head on them, and the rest of these are 7/16. So I'm going to take the ones off on the bottom first. That way I can save the one at the top for last. I can be standing up. That way I can help hold the motor up while I'm taking that bolt out. If I take one of these bottom ones out, it's going to be hard to hold on to it while taking the bottom bolt out. If I don't have to, I don't really want to do that. That one feels like it might have had a little Loctite on it from 36 years ago. You can feel it all the way out. Okay. Go ahead and take this whole bracket out of the way because this new motor is way bigger than this one. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to bolt up the same or not. The bolt pattern as far as the motor goes is the same, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to use the same L bracket. So I want to make sure that we get it plenty far enough out of the way where it won't cause us any heartburn here in the next few minutes. Now all I have left is these three, and I should be able to set this thing off of there. Hopefully it's not stuck into this housing. That is aluminum housing, and it is a carbon steel based motor. Sometimes when those, those bimetal products are put together like that, over time they kind of seem to fuse together. Not all the time, but this is a perfect case scenario for that to happen, if it was going to happen. We might have to go in there and get one of our persuasion tools to tap it in the right direction, but we'll see when we get there. Bolts look really good, not too corroded. I guess I'll just throw it on the floor. That'll be all right. Next guy will pick it up. Make sure that's all of them. Well, just as I was suspicious of, it is stuck. So I'm gonna go in there and get a hammer, and we're just gonna gently tap all the way around to see if we can get it to break loose. So the motor just slides into the housing, not very far. So with a little bit of tapping, just to get it loose enough where we can shake it and wiggle it a little bit, we should be able to float it right on out of there. I think the trick is gonna be getting it tapped loose, getting it pulled out there while holding it, and trying not to drop it all at the same time. Oh, there it comes. Come on. Oh yeah, looky there. I knew we could do it. Well, here's the shot inside of that housing. It's pretty clean. I mean, nothing that a wire brush, a little carburetor cleaner. We'll get that shaft cleaned up, put a little grease on it. Really not bad at all. Well, to be a 36-year-old electric motor, it surely does look like it's in pretty good shape. I mean, there's a little bit of brush dust and stuff like that in there, but that's to be expected. I mean, it's really good shape. Well, just a little side-by-side comparison here. You can see that we're obviously going to be putting a lot more power and a lot more energy into this golf cart. To throw a tape measure on it and look at it, the overall length, just the housing on this motor is 11¼ inches long. The old original one is 7 3/8. That is a huge difference. The measurement across the base of the new motor is 7 inches, and the measurement across the base of the old motor is 6 3/4. There's a lot of significance in just the size of these. Now, doing some reading and watching some videos of people that's actually done this conversion, a lot of times you'll have to remove the rear shocks. And the reason for that is that rear shock is going to fall out right in here, and the motor could hit that shock as the golf cart suspension works. We're going to have to measure that and see when it comes time to install this thing. But first, I got to get the golf cart out here in the rocks and get that housing all cleaned up, get the shaft greased, and ready to install this motor. So this is where the motor slides in and connects, and all that brake dust, oil grime, all that came out of there pretty good. So with a little bit of lubrication, that new motor should slide in there without a hitch. So these are the three main big components that we're putting in this golf cart to make it perform, make it do what it's supposed to do. We have this ginormous 70.4 volt battery by Gator. We have a Navitas 850 amp controller. We have an Navitas 7.5 kW AC motor. Now, with all three of these components combined, with all the connective wiring, all the little bells and whistles, this is what is going to create 78 miles an hour on that unit. And y'all, I can't get over what a massive battery this is. This thing is huge. Gator really pulled out all the stops when they sent this to us. This is 105 amp hour, 70.4 volts, 7,392 watt hours. It's a LiPo4 battery. Just look at that thing. Looks like an army tank. And another thing I really like about it is the posts are right on the end of the battery. They're not on top of it where you're fighting to get everything to fit under the seat. You can just pick up right on the end. It has an on-off switch, Bluetooth capabilities. You have your plug-in there for your battery meter. Super simple setup, super clean, which is exactly what I wanted. And another thing that I really love is having the app connection control. I mean, you just scan the QR code, bam, put the app on your phone, it connects, you know exactly what's going on with your battery. It tells you everything that you need to know right there at your fingertips, because let's be honest, we all have our phones in our hands all the time anyway. Getting to the point now to where we can get this motor set in place and see if we need to take those shocks out and see if we need to do any more frame trimming, whatever we got to do. Well, Navitas sent a couple of eye bolts that screws right into this motor. That way we'll be able to use this overhead hoist, not trying to hold it up and get measurements and all that at the same time, trying to work smarter rather than harder. And I know if y'all been watching us for any amount of time, you probably think that that's not the truth. Working smarter rather than harder. But, hey, this is 2026. Everybody's got to turn over a new leaf sometime or the other. Oh yeah, that should be just about right. Well, Houston, it appears that we have our first difficulty. So that motor can't fit in there. It is so long without hitting the lift kit support. And it can't go in there on an angle. It's got to be perfectly lined up to be able to slide in there. So let me get you down here where you can see a little bit better. So not only is the shock going to have to come off, this whole upper support bracket for the lift kit has got to come off as well. So now I think we're in a position where we can actually get a lineup on this motor. But y'all, I had to take the shock off, the lift block, the whole lift kit system right there. I had to drop the lift spring down because the lift spring fell out where it would fall right into the motor. I think we have enough clearance there in between the end of the motor and the leaf spring, but to put it in, it was right in the way. So I went ahead and dropped it out of the way. Now we can get a lineup on this motor, get it slid in, and see if we can get all that bolted back in there. I'm not sure about the shocks. I don't think they're gonna make it. Now, if all goes well, this thing should line up fairly simple. Here are the bolts. Try to get this spline turned a little bit, see if it'll line up. I'm feeling where the bolt holes are to make sure that they're lined up. And look at that. Look at that. That went in way easier than I thought. I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple bolts started in it while I got this line up, because you know how that goes. As soon as you get in the least little bit of a bind, you'll never be able to get these things to line up again. You have to end up pulling it back out, rearranging everything. But if we got a couple of them in place where we can snug them up, then it should hold those other two in line. Yeah, we got it started now. Well, I finally got that old big motor put in place and the rear end all bolted back together. But let me tell you, the old boy fought me the whole time. I had to do a couple little trickery things there to make it all work out, and I'll show y'all what that is. If you look down in there, that upper lift kit bracket could not have been any closer to that motor. I mean, it is barely touching it. If it was a 30-second longer, I'd have had to trim that whole bracket. Looking at these rear shocks, I see exactly why they say a lot of people just take these shocks off, because when they're installed correctly, that barrel is gonna hit the back of that motor. So what I did is I just inverted that shock. That way the rod is down there by the motor so you have more clearance. Now over time, this might not be the best situation in the world because those shocks are hydraulic. So if you get a seal leak, all the fluid will leak out. But those are brand new shocks, so they should last a little while. We're starting to make a little progress now. I love going back with new components. Kind of like a kid at Christmas. I've been wanting to see what this big battery looks like sitting in here ever since we got it. Ooh, that is a house. This overhead hoist makes all the difference in the world whenever you're messing with this heavy stuff. No sense in hurting the old back when you can just push a button with a remote. Before quitting time came around yesterday, I was able to get the controller and a 600 amp solenoid mounted into place and ready for the next step. Now the next step this morning is to mount a potentiometer. That way we can press the accelerator and it'll tell our controller exactly how much input of current it needs to send to the motor. Now as far as mounting the battery in there, I ended up having to take that piece of plywood completely out of there. And having those two pieces of timber in there did give me a good flat surface, and it's not hitting, it's not rubbing anything on the bottom, so it's really secure. I just kind of wanted that solid covering to be underneath there, but that didn't work out. It's not really going to affect anything, so we're going to go with that. I ended up mounting this controller in one of these battery trays. I took some of that 3/4 plywood that I didn't use and made a little trough there in a bracket and screwed this thing to it. The only thing I really don't like about the way I have this controller mounted is it's facing up. So if it gets any water in there, it seems to me like it's just going to sit in there on them terminals and maybe go into where all these wires are. Might cause some issues. So I might end up having to build a cover for this thing just to give me peace of mind if nothing else. Well, there's that heavy duty solenoid we was talking about. This is a 600 amp solenoid, so it should be able to withstand whatever we can throw at it. Well, the next hurdle in this whole thing is mounting this potentiometer. this little Sikkim pedal. So what has to happen is this potentiometer has to be mounted in place like this, because when this accelerator rod goes back, it has to push this lever back, and that's how the conversation's made between your foot and the computer telling this motor how fast to go. So the way it's designed, it's just got a flat plate. We obviously can't mount it that way. It has to be mounted in this orientation just like this. So I'm gonna have to dream up something to be able to get this thing mounted and put in place. And it's gonna have to be mounted pretty rigid because it's gonna be taking some bumps and bruises. I mean, you think about that accelerator in your foot and the difference in the leverage, and it's probably not gonna be handled the most gently in the world. Here's what I came up with. Don't laugh, I know you wanting to, but this is some shelving brackets that I found that we had put away and haven't used, and they're carbon steel, they're really strong. I've just got to trim them into place, but this will allow that potentiometer to get on that right angle that I need, and I'll still be able to adjust it to make it fit just right. I'm gonna cut these off with a Dremel, drill my holes, get them fastened in place. I'm probably gonna pop rivet them in place. That way I don't have to worry about a nut coming loose or something like that. It'll be a pain if I ever have to change it because I'll have to grind them off, but I think it's worth the risk. The old potentiometer installation really went better than I thought. It's kind of a little Cajun redneck ingenuity there with the shelving brackets, but turned out working really good. My only concern with this potentiometer install is that I don't know exactly how much throw this thing needs. And by throw, I mean the distance that this linkage pushes this potentiometer back when I press the accelerator. Now it should be about the same as stock, but I'm not sure that stock equates to new. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that translation is going to be exactly the same. So whenever we get this thing up and running, I might have to adjust that linkage in or out, but according to this micro switch in there, I just barely touch the pedal and it clicks off the micro switch. So I should be relatively close, I'm thinking. We're at the point in the game now to where we have the accelerator that can tell the computer what it needs to do, or controller rather. We have the solenoid that's going to take care of the actual current. We have the drive motor, which is going to drive the wheels and then take all that information in. We have this ginormous battery sitting up here to provide all of this ample power. So now we're at a point in this game where we just got to start wiring all this stuff up. We got to get this whole system where it can talk to one another. Now, as far as this Navita system that I have here, there's just one wire that goes from the controller, it goes to the speed sensor on the motor and the other control module on the motor, and it tells it what kind of regen you want. They have this set up really simple. You just plug it in there. I'm gonna try to route this around ahead of time, kind of halfway where I want it, because we're definitely gonna have to come in here and do some cable management before this is all done. But try to get it all out here and lay it out where it's gonna live. That way we don't have to come back and unplug something later and plug it back in. Do all those sorts of things that we really may not have to if we just think it through the first time. Simple enough. All the wiring on this Go Fast unit is put in place at this time. The only thing that is not completely done is this potentiometer. Now I do have it temporarily wired in place because let me tell you something, that was a fiasco. Now, if you've done any of this kind of stuff for any amount of time, you kind of know when something just don't seem right. This just does, there's something missing here. And that's exactly what was happening with this potentiometer. I was trying to figure out the wiring because on this project, I'm using a Golf Carts Modified 3900 series ACIQ wiring harness. So I knew everything was there. I knew all the wires were accounted for. Well, except for the lack of labeling. Now, Golf Carts Modified, if y'all are listening, do better. Come on now. How expensive would it be to put labels on there? They're cheap, super cheap. And it's extremely time consuming for us as the consumer to go through, get a voltage on every wire, chase it all out, figure out where it all goes, label it, then go install it. Just label it while you're making it. Hello. Thank you in advance. I had saved this pot box for last to wire it up because the pot had 2 wires coming out of it and the wiring harness had 3 wires to hook up. You got a 5 volt, you got a discharge signal, then you have a ground. Okay, 1 wire was missing. So what I ended up having to do is take this potentiometer completely off, disassembling this brand new part, only to find out that from the factory, the ground wire had not been installed inside on the actual part that measures the resistance to give you a reading. So jumped in there, I put a wire back on it, reassembled the whole thing. I bought that part off Amazon. I buy parts off of there all the time, but the company name is 10LOL. I guess that should have been a red flag. Well, Mr. 10LOL, that one was on me, but I can assure you the second one won't be. So for all of these leads going back to the motor, all the way up here to the controller, I made all of those out of welding lead because I know they'll carry the amps that I need without getting hot and without melting, and that's going to be a lot of current from time to time. So I went ahead and made them all the way to the solenoid, all the way to the controller, all the way back to the motor. So in theory, hot, melty wires should not be something that I have to be concerned about. I know we went through the wiring system pretty quick on this thing because I didn't video a lot of it. I was trying to cipher it out and get them labeled and get them installed as I went. Now, if y'all would like for me to take a deeper dive, if y'all are interested in taking one of these old Club Car DS and doing a project like this, and you'd like for me to go through and show you where all the wires need to go and how they should be labeled, drop down in the comments and let me know. I'll be happy to do it. It's a pretty straightforward process, but when you have this big bundle of wires and it's just all a bunch of colors and a bunch of different lengths and you have a bunch of different things to wire to, it can get extremely complicated really fast. But I would be more than happy to jump out there and do a video and explain all that to you. Just let me know. The way I have things set up right now is extremely, extremely temporary. We have the bare bones. The old Gator cart is 100% convertible style. I wanted to wait before I put everything back together to make sure everything's going to operate right and I don't need to pull that back cap off and do some wiring, change something, adjust something along those lines. So I thought it would be easier just to throw the seat on, throw that back cover on. That way if I do have to go back and relick my calf, it'll be quick to get access to what I need. This is a really neat thing. On this Navita system, you can control the speed, you can control your regen, and your takeoff speed. So if you want it to take off a little softer, you can turn this down, or if you want the full onion, you reach over here and grab that knob and turn it. And the way this is set up is on like a Coke machine key, so you put that key in there and you turn it to the unlock position, and you can adjust all these on the fly. Or if you have it where you want it and you don't want anybody turning your knobs, all you have to do is put the key in, put it in the lock position, and they can turn them all they want and it's not going to change any of your set points. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on. Got the key on, turn the battery on. Now I'm going to jump in the app and take a look at all these set points and see what they're looking like. I'm going to jump over here and check on the battery. Make sure that we got plenty of juice. This is so cool. And we're sitting at 100%. We got 113.1 amp hours. Everything looks good. Total voltage 73.6 volts. Currently it's not using any amps or watts because we're not going anywhere. You can see the charge in each and every one of the cells. That is so stinking cool. Now jumping over here into this Navitas app, oh, this is cool too. It tells you how fast you're going, how many kilowatts you're using. And look at the bottom of the screen down here where it says waiting for forward and reverse switch. This is something that I noticed whenever I was putting in the forward and reverse switch. You can see whenever I put it in drive, it goes to the gear that you got selected, which drive would be forward, back to neutral, back to reverse. I'm gonna jump over into the diagnostic side here now. Let's look, we got the key is on. It is in run, not in tow. Now in full transparency, there is a ton of this stuff that I really don't know anything about. The throttle input, I actually did a calibration on the throttle last night because all the trouble I was having with that potentiometer, I needed to make sure and verify that I was actually in range. This is really cool though, because you can see everything. You can even see if it's the latest firmware. Now jumping over here into the settings, I'm gonna get right here. They have this set at 25. I'm not gonna limit myself to 25 miles an hour, but I'm also not gonna push it to a real high speed just yet because I don't even have a rear seat. Be dangerous. I will accept that all day long. There you go. Tire diameter 23 inches. Gear ratio 12.44, that's good. Calculated speed, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and hit save. Gonna flash that to the controller. Well, here's the moment we've all been waiting for. And I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know about all my mad scientist wiring skills that I got going on here, but we're gonna see if it'll even roll. Fingers crossed. Ooh, that sounds rough. Whoa. Holy crap. Oh my God. I can tell right now that I don't have near enough whoa for this thing already. Whoa! Okay, full disclosure, I haven't even drove this thing like 50 feet yet. I just backed it up, pulled it off the slab, and I would already 10 out of 10. If you've ever thought about doing this, go ahead and do it. Oh my God, this is gonna be so fun. I decided to bring it out here and get it on this main driveway going into our place. That way, if I needed to stretch its legs without running out of space, I could do it, because I'm really not sure on any of these controls just yet. I have to learn all that, and I am not there yet. I figured if I got out here, I'd have a long way to coast if I got to going too fast, or if the worst would happen, it flips over, at least I won't tear up the grass. I'm gonna jump on it and do a couple test runs. I love it, y'all. Well, for the first test, I can tell you this. I don't know exactly how fast I was going because I was white knuckling the steering wheel and couldn't have the app where I can see it. I'm gonna have to set up something where I can put that up there and be able to monitor it as I go along. But I'm telling you, this is B-A-double-D. It is bad with 2 Ds. It will fly. And I had a lot of comments saying, hey, whenever that thing gets up there above 50-ish, things start happening. Everything starts floating, and I did experience that. I'm not 100% exactly what speed that I was going, but I'm telling you, it felt like I was flying. A couple of things to note is that I'm gonna have to do some front end alignment, and I've got to get some more whoa because I don't have nowhere near enough brake to slow this thing down. Hey, thank y'all so much for joining me this week. Make sure and hit that like and subscribe button, share with your friends. Make sure to tune back in and catch the final episode as we set this thing up to see if we can actually hit that 78 mile an hour milestone.